Okay, I'm going to be doing a top end on this 2012 KX250F. You can see it blew up right here. The cam melted away because it got hot, and this one's perfectly fine. You can see it on the cam. It's all messed up right here. And there's like a discoloration right here, and it's a little bit melted. So I got a new head and some new cams. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing the whole top end. Because now I'm going to put all the rings on the piston. But before I put them all on, you take the, where did you go here? The compression ring, the biggest one, and you put it in the cylinder. Just a little bit more. Like that. And you take the piston, push it down a tiny bit so it gets all even. And then you take a feeler gauge, which is just so you can see how like the ring gap in here. So okay, so the ring gap is 10 thousandths, so it's pretty good. You can see it's I don't know if you can see that, but it's a really small ring gap, which is good. So you can take that back out. Because now we're going to put all the rings on the piston. So I start with the oil ring, and then I go with the other two that go around it, and then the compression one last. So I'll do that real quick. Alright, so now I'm going to put the piston in, and before you do, make sure you got a rag down here so you don't drop any of your clips into the engine. And when you put the piston on, see this little arrow? Yeah, make sure that is pointing towards the exhaust. So I already put one of my clips in. So just put the piston on, and put this in. Okay, now these clips are kind of hard to put in, so I'm just going to put it in off camera so it goes quicker. Okay, once you have the piston on, you're going to put on the base gasket. So I'm just going to pull your cam chain through and the guide. Just like that. And then you can put your cylinder on. Now you gotta work these rings into the cylinder so that it's easier. You could put oil in there, make it easier, but I didn't. You don't have to. Now, gotta make sure that cam chain doesn't fall in just like it did for me. But it's not a big deal, just grab it. his cam chain. I'll just get it later. Gotta make sure your gasket lines up. There we go. Alright, I'll get that cam chain. Okay, since we got a new head, we'll be putting all the valves in it. There's no valves in it right now, so. Okay, so first I'm gonna put all the valve seals in. These guys. So just take some needle nose pliers, don't pinch them too hard, and put it on there. Push it on. Make sure it's seated all the way on. The next one. Okay, we got all the valve seals in, so now I'm going to put the valve in. And there's a little washer that goes down in there, but on most used heads, it's already going to be there. Then the spring, and then the keeper, the little valve keepers, and then you won't need the shim and shim bucket yet, but I'm going to be using a valve compressor tool to put these in, so I'll get this all set up. Okay, I've got it all set up now, so just going to tighten this down, and then oops, you can put in the valve keepers. Alright, that's good enough. So now you put the valve keepers in. Which could be a little bit hard to do. Okay, now we got all the valves in. You can see, got all those in. So now we're gonna put in the shims and the shim buckets. So here's the shims. Put it in, and then the shim bucket. Alright, there. All the shim buckets are in. So, next step is going to be putting the head on the engine. Alright, the next step is going to be putting in the cam chain guide. So, pull this over. Stick it in that, like that. And then you're going to want to have a way to hold this up so it doesn't fall off the gear that's on the crankshaft. So I'm just going to put it like that. Alright, so now I'm going to be putting on the head gasket. I oiled it up a tiny bit before I put it on so that it makes a better seal. And then, now that that's on, pretty much ready to put the head on. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, I got the head on, and now I'm going to be torquing the head bolts down to 36 foot-pounds. Alright, so now we're going to be setting the timing and putting the cams in. So, that's going to be done. Alright, now the cams are in. Now I just need to set the timing. Alright, so I got the timing all lined up. And now all I need to do is put the cam caps on, chain tensioner, and a few other parts. But you can see I got the timing lined up. There's a dot right in there on that gear, and then up there on the top too, and over on that one. Those all, like the ones on the side, line up with the case, and the other ones on the top go straight up. And then in here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a line. It's really faint, but there's a line in there that lines up, and that just means that all the timing's correct and stuff. But now I just need to put on the cam caps. But before I do, I need to put on these two guys, which are they just go in these little slots on the bearings. And there's an O-ring that goes right there in the middle of the, just right there in the middle. The O-ring goes there, and then these are the things that go in the slots of the bearings. And then the cam caps will just go right over the top of that. So I'll do that. Okay, so I got the cam caps on, and I went ahead and put the chain tensioner in, and I oiled up the cam chain, and I've spun it over a bunch of times like this, and it feels good, smooth. So now I'm gonna check the valve clearances with a feeler gauge like this, and we'll see what the clearances are. So this is a 6,000th of an inch. So. Okay, so it looks like they're all about 6,000ths. So that's pretty good. Alright, so now all we have left to do is put on the timing cover. But before we do, there's an O-ring that goes right here on top of where the spark plug goes. And then you have the seal. Just like that. And then the timing cover. And then both the bolts. Alright, we're all done now, so once you've got this far, then I guess you can put your engine in your bike now. And yeah, that's about it. That's all there is to it.